All right, welcome back to Finding Truth, episode 57 tonight. Throw up the banner. There's proof. Uh, Logan back with Austin as usual. Lot to cover tonight. Inching towards that, the playoff, the final race of the season, November 2nd. Uh, Still got a race in between then. And yeah, it looks like it's going to come down to the wire for a couple of the narratives that we've been talking about all season, and which is funny because we talked just last week about how I mean, when this is at a point when it was a lot more feasible that our narrative would have come through, but we were saying because it was so feasible that it kind of makes it our whole idea, our narrative, kind of floppy because it needs adversity in order for us to like say why they're going to win, and they didn't have that adversity. Well, we got lots of adversity now. We got enough adversity. I think you guys can chill on the adversity. Let's chill on that. But so yeah, we'll see. It's down to next week, obviously, to see if our really early prediction comes in, and if that doesn't, we've had our backup proposals on what this season's all about, and it's seeming to, whether or not this qualify, this will be a cup winning season for Mr. Gibbs. I think he's got a lot to hang his hat on regardless, because man, they've picked up a lot of wins this year. Holy crap. So lot to talk about, lot to ponder for next week, going into 201 Town, which is interesting. A place where Blaney's won last two times. So there could be some foretelling to look back and find. But on top of that, we kind of want to expand upon our talk we had last week. Of this, of course, we talked about dreams, which was like an expansion of health from the previous week where we talked about sleep. Well, where we kind of like left out sleep, and we decided, well, screw it. Sleep was so important. I can't believe we left it off the table. Let's make a whole episode more about sleep, and that kind of bleeds into like dreams and what they are, and how, what they could mean. So we went into all sorts of stuff. If you didn't see that, check it out. And we give lots of chances for you guys to communicate with us and cooperate with us with our discussion. So if you haven't seen that, check it out, even if you have to fast forward the NASCAR stuff, because it was a really good discussion. So this week we'll be expanding on that even more with the idea of stress, because stress came up multiple times, talking about sleep as well, because that's a big factor with it. And also just like sense of togetherness, which those things kind of go hand in hand, because a lot of people's, whether you know it or not, your stress relief comes from basically getting it out. You might not realize you're getting it out, but when you go to hang out with the homeboys and people are laughing and carefree, that is literally healing that tension that you've had throughout the week or over a certain thing that happened to you or whatever it may be. And it doesn't have to be, it's, people, it's companionship and the people around you. Of course, if these are, leading to good outcomes and friendly discourse and things of that nature, that's one of the biggest, healing factors that we have, or I should say we used to have. And we're going to discuss whether or not that's, even viable now, or, where are we at with that? What's the state of community with the world? And, what does it look like through our lenses, basically? But without further ado, I'll send it down to you, Austin. How's your week been?
Yeah, it hasn't been too bad. It's been a pretty decent week. I've been still kind of, like I said, just kind of, working on my health and working on things I got to do and working on my shoulders. Definitely doing better this week. Definitely feeling better, getting better, kind of making progress here and there. And um, yeah, kind of hoping that probably like a month or two, I'm kind of hopefully all good to go and stuff, or at least sooner rather than later. But yeah, it's just, it's been a pretty decent week. It's kind of just same old, really. nothing too much to add. Just kind of just enjoying the still pretty decent weather. I'd say it's been still pretty nice for the most part. So at least not too cold as of yet. So I feel like we got a couple weeks till by November. It's probably going to get pretty nasty, but um, yeah, it wasn't really wasn't a bad week. Just kind of like I said, just kind of same old, same old. Still was kind of trying to recover and stuff and do what I got to do. Just doing my workouts and stretches and trying to enjoy the gym and stuff like that. But yeah, other than that, not too much to really call upon for the week that it was. But yeah, like I said, still enjoying the weather before it gets too nasty for winter really starts kicking in. But yeah, yeah, tonight's show should be pretty good. I think I feel like all these topics we've had last few weeks with health and sleep and dreams and all these things and working out, stretching. I feel like like the topics tonight, like having a balance in life, how to kind of what people's balance is or what it should be or how to find it or just the overall importance of it, just because everyone's kind of got to find that balance to really kind of better themselves and hang in this world and do what they got to do, but as well as just kind of like a sense of belonging. And I think those are just two things that a lot of people struggle with in life, and they can get the best of you. It's just trying to find a balance and find what works for you and finding that sense of belonging. So it should be, and I think there should be hopefully some feedback as well on these topics, because I feel like it's something everybody can add to a bit, here and there at least. Or I feel like we've kind of had a few new people kind of maybe chime in or kind of come out the woodwork, or maybe I don't know if they found the channel or just maybe reached out in some comments. But it's just good to see just a few new souls or whatever's out there just kind of reaching in. So yeah, hopefully we see some more of that and have some more of that as well. But yeah, just we're coming to the very end of our NASCAR season that started all the way back in February with the Daytona 500. Just 2 weeks to go. I think it's like 2 weeks is gonna be like 2 days. Next week I think I feel like after the race, depending on who's in the Final Four and how it goes, I feel like we can probably just about call our winner at that point, depending how the race goes, depending who's in the Final Four. And how our predictions kind of land and how well we've kind of been seeing things. But yeah, I mean, I feel like we've done a great job at calling these races for the most part, especially the last 2 weeks. It's pretty much been right on the money we've been saying, but the races at the very end, we're just having some, different outcomes that are just kind of coming out left field. But yeah, that's pretty much what this race was, Talladega. We just tried to, I mean, for the most part, we nailed the race. What we said it was going to be, the Fords doing well, dominating and doing their part, and Team Penske being there with Logano and Ryan Blaney and just all the Fords and the Ford domination. I know they didn't win any stages, but I think Logano had the most laps. I know Gibbs led stage one, and then Briscoe at stage two. But yeah, just a really kind of, it really wasn't the race I was expecting. I really thought there was going to be the big one, the big crash that there usually is. Sometimes there's not, but really thought there was going to be. I thought we maybe even see a flip or something. It was kind of just a weird race. I don't know how much of it was like legit or manipulated and stuff. It was kind of just like a lot of single cars, like having own issues and like having a DNF and like having either electrical problems or some mechanical problem or something weird. And they just like took themselves out of the race. So I mean, there was only the one crash that Chase Elliott got taken out in the beginning, and just that little wreck, and that's really all it was as far as crashes. The rest were just kind of all single car issues. Ginsburg getting stuck in the grass, coming to pit road, all this other kind of goofy nonsense of a race. But yeah, I mean, just the way the race kind of unfolded there was, I mean, it looked like you looked at the race. I mean, how many times Logano was up front leading? I mean, he was up front the whole race pretty much. And if he fell back, he got right back up there. And apparently he was having some issue with his car too, apparently. But I mean, he was up there, 50 to go. It was him and Blaney, and like 20 to go. It was him and Blaney. And it looked like what we were calling. And then, I mean, they fell back there towards the end for whatever reason. And then I thought Byron, with 2 to go, was leading the race. And I thought last week and this week it was also a great shot for him to get a win. And it looked like it possibly could have and should have came through again. And kind of like last week, he goes just, spinning through the infield there at the very end of the race, losing a bunch of spots. Larson apparently somehow randomly just runs out of gas for no reason. I know Logano and Blaney said they had a pit for gas, which absolutely made no sense because they all should have had gas. But yeah, just a very weird end of the race, and just so much manipulation lately with these races and these finishes. And yeah, just kind of something it's kind of hard to predict this one. This is always a tricky race, but it seemed like this time it was for a lot of different reasons. But yeah, in the end, it was Briscoe, and it's interesting now because now you have Hamlin locked in, you got Briscoe in there, and then you got Bell as well, and or at least he's in the top 4 right now. So you have all the Gibbs cars 1, 2, 3, and then you have Larson as of right now in on points for Hendrick, and then you got 2 Hendrick cars on the outside looking in. And all 4 are going to have to pretty much be going to have to try and get a win at Martinsville with Chase Elliott, William Byron, Ryan Blaney, and Joey Logano. Basically all have to win for the most part, unless, just maybe Bell or Larson has a really bad finish and they finish really well, maybe finish second or top 5 or something, or something weird happens out of the ordinary. But yeah, it's shaping up to be something very interesting. And I, you talked about, last week with possibly with maybe like Logano or Blaney winning the last 2 races. And I definitely could see that is definitely happening, or a possibility. They could win next week at Martinsville, get the momentum, pack it in, and then take that momentum and take it straight to Phoenix and just, go there and win. Get 2 in a row. So I could see something like that happening, especially if it is the 3 Gibbs cars in it. Then you could, have that narrative like, oh, look at Ryan Blaney, Joey Logano. They had to go against the best team all year, the 3 Gibbs cars, and they beat them all for the Ford 4-peat. So you'd have that huge, where Logano 4 in a row, 4 championships, or Ryan Blaney second, Ford gets it either way. So, I mean, that narrative could definitely be. And like I said, if you had all the Gibbs cars and you could have just a 1-team dynasty in there, and then they'd be like, oh, see Ford took them down in the final round, beat the best team all year. So you could have that narrative very strongly. Yeah, very interesting right now. Briscoe was the one guy I kind of didn't, he was the only guy that hasn't been in the final 4. And we talked about that as well. He was the only guy that hasn't been in the final 4 as of yet. And that's why I kind of thought maybe he wouldn't make it to the round of 4, but sure enough, he is. So we'll have to see if all Gibbs cars, Bell included, because we know how connected the hip they always are. But I was looking at the tracker too, all the race, they were together like all the time. I'd look, there they are together again. So those 2 being inseparable, it's hard to believe that they're not going to be in the final 4 round together holding hands.
Yeah, man, I can already feel the stress exiting my shoulders just getting to sit here and talk with you for a few hours, man. It truly, that sense of belonging, just taking that stress right away. But no, you're absolutely right. And yeah, you surmise that pretty well for what we have been discussing the last few weeks, and what I kind of was leading into on the intro. It was just like, for the last 2 weeks, we've talked about, it went from, we brought this up a few weeks ago when it was Blaney sitting, I think, second. And we were just like, this, we've been talking about this Ford Pete with the dark horse and them coming, from behind and like making this, being unlikely to win, but winning it. And I was like, I'm happy to see my guy here sitting second, but I'm like, I even said this too. I was like, at this rate, if he wins it, people are going to look back and say like, so what? So you called the guy who's been, racing great all year and high up in the point standing, and like, he's a perennial favorite. Okay, you picked a perennial favorite and they won. Okay, I even like was playing, that character and mocking my decision, and I was saying like, man, the only thing that doesn't fit with our narrative is that he's racing too well. Like he's too much of a fit to win, and then since then it's just been a nosedive, and he's just like absolutely a winner or you're out mode now. So it's went from, it was strange. It's a strange feeling because the narrative was on the board, yet it didn't really fit exactly, and that puzzle piece didn't really fit. Now, I mean, I'll be cracking up for a week if Blaney wins this next race. I can't, dude, I honestly can't wait for Sunday. Like I said, I got nothing to lose in this. I'm not suggesting you guys do anything with this information. These are all just like we could go till we blue in the face about our, what we're doing this for and what, things of that nature. We've covered it multiple times, but fun is one of the reasons. And this has been a blast for me, honestly. It's my first soiree into doing this too. I looked up a few local games when or I said local, I mean like big games when just seeing if I had any outside information, because obviously we come from Zach's community and he's the guru, especially when it comes to narratives and knowing in advance these big games and the outcomes and where they're going with it, numbers wise and narrative wise. Of course, he gets a lot of help from the community too, which is kind of what we're trying to build, is a sect of the community that can do this independently. Not to say that we don't bring this to help Zach either. I do my best to try to clue Zach into anything outward that I know about and can help. Anyway, without getting too long-winded, it's been really fun. And like I said, if it would be vindication. Not that I need it. Not that I'm sitting here, oh no, my honor's on the line or nothing like that. It's not like that I don't feel that way at all. It's just, it would be very vindicating in the way that it would, for me, personally, I would feel like, not that I feel crazy now, but it would make me feel not like the things we've been talking about, we've been right on the money with, which I do think we're already there, but obviously cementing it with our call coming in is, the best way to do that. And of course, we've been able to feel the short bursts of joy from our multiple calls this season, from, not from, I was going to say from thin air. I've just been speaking out of my ass for some reason, not from thin air, but we, from our being able to spy where these narratives are being taken to in NASCAR, and, where they've been from the beginning to the middle of the season till now, and the races we've been able to call. So we've been able to feel those momentary victories and everything. But for this one to come through after everything that we've had to build up and explain, and just one thing after another just keeps happening and happening, leading to this pivotal pinnacle moment where it either happens or it doesn't. It's no real skin off our backs, but if it comes through, oh man, oh man, that's gonna, I mean, I don't know if we won't be able to just have a whole episode talking about it.
Oh, I agree. We're gonna be the ones celebrating. I'm gonna feel like I won the championship.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, just it's not even they haven't installed this drama into us. This drama we've brought through our own personal, I guess, kind of game that we're playing, if you will, which is not really a game, through our unraveling of their game, and just being vindicated multiple steps along the way, has felt really good. And what's fun is it's live. It's we're not check the name. This is unscripted. So we've come across some great, we've had so many fun, great reveals and moments going over these races and everything. And it's, I don't know, just doing it live like that is just I don't know. There's something really fun about it. I mean, I say live. I mean, it's live to me and you. Hopefully, one day we'll be able to do some lives too. I think that could be really fun. But I just mean like in the moment, finding, having these revelations in the moment, and them leading to, dead on calls, and the calls, like we've said, the calls that haven't come through. It's very strange that we like picked the driver that was going to be like the controversial driver in the race. It's like even if they don't win, they're like the one that most people are talking about more than the winner. It's like, whoa, oh, what happened with this driver? Oh, he had it, but this happened, or he was involved in this. So it's that there's something to be said that we might, obviously we don't have the playbook. We're not invited to the cookout per se. We're not putting our robes on and bringing our ritual daggers to the homie's house every Saturday night. So we don't really know the ins and outs of exactly what these things are for, or, what they represent exactly. But it's just crazy that we've been able to key in through the gematria, through the dates, and through especially through the locations. I think maybe not especially, but it probably a three-way tie for those three things coming together for us to be able to see these narratives ahead of time, along with your knowledge of the sport, whether or not it's personal knowledge of the drivers, or track wins and history and things of that nature. And then, like I say, I'm kind of I bring the least to the table probably, but I do feel like I have some weird there was a reason I was addicted to sports, like, because I despise them now. So but rather than me sitting here thinking I wasted 20 years of my life, paying homage to fake rigged sports, like stupidly, like I was addicted to them. They really affected me when we'd lose, type of, I was just, normie shit. Rather than think of it as that's all just been a waste, it almost feels like it's been channeled into this new. I'm able to. I'm not talking like it's some superpower. It kind of feels like that sometimes, especially when the narrative does come through. But like I say, I can hear Scott Van Pelt, and this might be either psychosis or my superpower. I don't know, but as my Sports Center brain, I feel like it does tend to add to the conversation just by being able to know what I understand, that they're on a repetitive cycle, and I know what they aim to do with their headlines and things of that nature. So paired with your knowledge, and more recently the community getting involved, teaching me a whole bunch of good stuff, factoids that I otherwise wouldn't have known, previous or current drivers, like personal situations, things of that nature. But anyway, I think to surmise all of this, I just think it's been a really fun road, fun track to drive, and that's what I'm taking away from it, regardless of what happens in a couple of weeks. But yeah, it's definitely crazy being put in the situation that we're in for our narrative to just actually hit a grand slam out of way out of left field. I'm bringing all sports into it. I hit a touchdown. Anyway, because we've been on this since, I don't even know. I've been wanting to kind of go back and see when the first mention of this is. I can't remember if it was race one. I don't know if it was race one, but it was very, very early on. We've been clued in to this concept of the Ford Pete, and it's just been building and building and building. It's not like where I'm saying we've been building it. We've been exposing it and showing it, really, but So it's getting exciting. The suspense is, like I said, it's coming from inside the house. We're building our own suspense and drama because, like I said before in our brief conversation before, this shit's boring. I'm going to be honest. Like these finishes, like you were saying perfectly, these manipulated finishes, how fucking boring. I mean, the fans that are watching on TV, you watch a 2.5 hour program for what? Like I said, that it's almost like all these football games that are decided at the end of the game. And it's like, might as well just have the ref come out and flip a coin and say, oh, it's heads. This team wins. Go home. Might as well just be that. I don't know. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, I mean, and you brought up a great point too, like how these races. I mean, and again, I mean, even like back to that Christopher Bell, that 201st his 201st race on the 201st day of the year. I mean, you look at the highlights; they're showing his car in the highlights. He didn't win the race, but they're showing his car, and it's like, wait, this is what we talked about. This is what we were saying, and they're showing his car, and yeah, he was up there battling for the lead twice and spins out twice perfectly at Dover. Doesn't hit anything. I mean, literally impossible. I mean, no one ever spins out twice at Dover and doesn't hit anything, and exactly what he did, going for the lead twice or racing for lead twice. Yeah, and like I said, him being in the highlights, and you watch these races last so many weeks. I mean, we've been calling exactly what you watch these races, and what we're saying is 100% there. I mean, everything that we say is lining up and adding up in these races. But then you look at the finish, and then you look at the way these races are finishing out, and it's just like, I mean, yeah, it's just I don't know how anybody could have any like if I was a fan or watching NASCAR today. I mean, I don't know how you can stomach this crap every week. I mean, how pathetic it is, how these races are just coming down, just the dumbest things. I mean, things don't even make any sense. And then, I mean, we've been setting this, like you said, I mean, we've been calling this and seeing this through for a long time, and this whole year, how it's all played out, and then all the ridiculousness of the year, and just all this wacky nonsense. And now it's, in a week from today, I mean, unless unless Martinsville gets rained out at the Monday race, I don't think Phoenix will get rained out. But I know, like, once the Phoenix race back in like 2008, 2009 got like rained out. It was moved to like later in the later in the day or whatever, but highly unlikely that it will. I think they'll both be Sunday races, regardless, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, I mean, barring a rain delay or something next week, I mean, we should have our final four, and we should see, if we came through or not next week, and that should provide enough evidence as to what we're saying. Maybe, and if we're wrong, maybe it was like our second guess. Like maybe Byron makes the final four and wins Martinsville, or maybe he finishes second and Larson has a bad race, and then it's maybe it's the 30-year tribute to Jeff Gordon's first championship in '95, and they're going to give it to Byron for 2025. I mean, that's a possibility too. So I wouldn't 100% count that out either, especially since Byron's been in the Final Four last 2 years and finished third. So yeah, I can't really count anything out. But yeah, I mean, what we've been saying with the Fords and the Ford Pete, and how all of it lines up perfectly with this year. And yeah, there's just too much there, especially with the way the season's gone, the races this year in general. I mean, there's just too much there to exclude it when you look at the way that this whole system is rigged and put together, and in the way that they do things. I mean, there's just no way you can say it's off the slate. I mean, it looks like it's there more than ever. I mean, just for the reason, like I said, and like you said, with maybe Blaney or Logano winning next week, that's going to be the momentum they need going into Phoenix, where they always do well and win. So yeah, I mean, I'd say we've put it right on the money. I mean, yeah, it's most likely pretty much mathematically impossible to get both of them in again. But like I said, it might just be the Gibbs cars, and then it might just be Penske versus the three Gibbs or something like that. Unless something happens to Bell and maybe Larson makes it in, and say Bell doesn't or something, or Blaney wins or something. So it's going to be very interesting. That's for sure. It's going to be real interesting. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Like you said, it's exciting to sit back and to see this stuff through. I mean, it's just so much. You look at like what sports were, and you could always tell that like I could always tell football and NASCAR and wrestling were rigged, and there's things I could point out to show you every year and how they determine this stuff and who's going to be the winner. But it's just how rigged and dumb and pathetic and how clownish it's become is just unbelievable. Like I said, I mean, I was trying to follow the race all along, and in this one, it's just like the disappointment at the end was just like, yeah, how bad it was for me. I can't imagine being a fan, being there, and having to deal with the disappointment of what this shit show really was.
And yeah, we've discussed whether or not this is NASCAR putting their best foot forward, and we don't think they are. I think we agree that they're sandbagging. Obviously, you've had so many drivers come out and just absolutely shit talk NASCAR. I mean, almost nothing they have to say when NASCAR's brought up is good ever, whether or not it's the point system, their respect or care for the drivers. They're always making comments about that they're not looking out for the drivers. They're making it harder for the garages. They're doing this and that. It's never I not once have I ever seen anyone say, just I'm really grateful for NASCAR's continued certain. There's nobody saying that shit. It's all just been like fuck NASCAR all year for sure. And so we've talked about whether or not they're sandbagging in order to present a reason to do a big flip and switch on what a new wave of NASCAR. And we've talked about the young blood that's going to be injected into the group and into the Cup Series next year. Of course, you got the superstar Zilich coming in. That's going to bring a wave of guaranteed. That's going to be they're going to be banking on that all year. He'll be highly publicized. He'll be brought up before every race, I'm sure. Like just like any superstar at a college type of thing. Like think of it that way. The biggest star at a college. That's the equivalent for NASCAR, basically. Then so yeah, and then it's not without basis too, because there was a potential for rule changes after this season, but they've since, it's still, I'm sure it still can happen where they make a change going into next season. But as it stands, they said they won't be making any change to the point system for next year. So it should be the exact same next year. And we've talked about this in regards to Van Gisbergen multiple times, because he's been kind of the catalyst figure for why this potentially needs a change, because it's almost as if it's making these offshoot races kind of like pointless in a way. It's like it adds the fun and the differences for the viewer, I guess, but in the grand scheme of things, it's still the best oval driver wins at the end of the year. So it's like, why even have road courses? Why have these different themed events? Well, in my opinion, I think that NASCAR will be moving towards more of a diverse theming of tracks in order to think of it as like tennis. In tennis, it's like you got to prove that you can win on clay, grass, turf. You know what I'm saying? They got to win on it. They have to win on all. They have to be able to play on each and every court. Whereas in NASCAR, it's like you can pretty much just X off the road courses for most drivers and say, well, I'm going to do good here, here, here. And, 95% of my races I'll do good. So it doesn't really matter that the 5% of road courses I do bad. Well, I think that there'll be a different situation there. And I think it'll be brought about by what's going on right now. So this is kind of where I've talked about having like future foresight rather than just hindsight in a couple of years when it's happening and we're able to, oh, that's what that was for. Well, no, we're living it right now. These are the reasons why these changes will be in effect, I think, because it's gotten so droll and so dull and so formulaic, I think. that it'll give him a good excuse to doing a drastic change to the league. And with that, they'll have all these new young drivers able to pick up the slack where you have the vets all talking crap. And that will also lead to a new dynamic too. That dynamic will draw in more people. Is seeing if the old guard with the changes can keep up with the new. You've seen this stuff before in all the sports. This is where my sports center brain shines. It's because they do this in all sports. They really do this in all sports. NBA, I guess, would be the biggest benefactor of these changes because all of the changes in NBA the last 20 years have been geared towards making it more exciting for the young players out of college to come in and have like instantly get their branding like a footing with their branding and be able to label them as stars and that of the like to obviously sell jerseys and tickets and things of that nature. It's all about money. Always is. If that was lost in what I was saying, let me reiterate it. It's all about the bottom line and the dollar. And I'm not even saying the dollar as in like, oh, they need that capital. These guys are in need of that money because they actually use money. It's not like that. It's about the control game. It's power. It's emotional and psychological indexing human beings. And right now you have 99% of people that intake sports are in that index as a cog in the wheel because they're just there to be emotionally invested and give up their time, energy, and money for something that will never reciprocate it ever. It never will. You can win a championship. Okay, you can win a championship. What is it this year? Who cares? Who cares if you won the championship? If another team wins the championship this year, okay, then what? It's like, what do you got to do? Win the championship every single year? What are you going to be, the Patriots forever? Like, what does it matter? What does it do for you? What is the injection into your city? You guys need some cars tipped over during your you guys need some people shot and killed in your celebration parade? What is it about winning a championship that does anything for you? Where you're at work over the water cooler talking to your friend or your coworker who probably hates you? What is the in the grand scheme? What does it do for you? It's really it's a sad state. We've talked about this multiple times, but it's sad when you're separate from it and you can finally see with clarity. And I don't mean to be just like a super judgmental of those people because, like I said, I was thick into it. I don't. This is like only a certain race can judge that race, or only fat people can judge fat people type of thing. This is what I've like. I used to be that loser, sitting there and spending money, spending time, spending energy, like really getting upset over the Blazers, the Seahawks, getting high with the Seahawks when they won the championship and thinking it was all, oh man, these guys, yeah, they did it for us. It's like bullshit. And anyway, no different here in NASCAR. And then, like I said, all to say that they really sandbagging this season away. And I think the only way to kind of recover is in these last two races. I think the only chance to recover is for the excitement to be that palpable that it kind of saves some face because they need to have a good ratings for the last race, the cup championship, because it's every week it's probably losing, and these are day games. By the way, no mistake that they do this because the NFL season starts, and so they make it to where their start times are early, so they're not competing with primetime Sunday football. And whatever that I'm not even sitting here saying that's conspiratorial. That's just business moves, whatever. But as far as what I'm saying with them needing to have a good last two races, they're still competing with football. I don't know what their ratings are, but that'd be interesting to look up that too. But 2 races left. Our narrative is on the board. Only only by way of the driver still being technically in it, winning in. And it'll be an exciting race next week, not because of what they're presenting in the sport, but because of what we've presented in our analysis and things of that nature. So I've had a blast with you. It's sad it's coming to an end, and but yeah, that's just one door closes, another one opens. So we'll see what that brings for the channel in a couple weeks here. But as far as this next race, we did notice a couple of things just in a brief. We were just chit chatting before we started, like 6-7 minutes, and speaking about our dark horse, Mr. Blaney, and we did notice a couple of interesting things. First of all, like I've mentioned a couple of times, we're going into 201 town, Martinsville, VA. So look out, Kyle Larson. Look. I'm not going to say look out for Van Gisbergen, but maybe he has a good race though. He's, now he's top 10 in an oval, and now he's just outside of the top 10 in a race that, really isn't his style. If any kind of race isn't his style, it's these restrictor races where he's in a pack. He really thrives when he's out, able to make his moves. Obviously on the road courses for sure, but yeah, look out for Kyle Larson. And I did want to throw in one caveat too. You mentioned William Byron potentially being the representative for Hendrick. Let's not forget that Kyle Larson sacrificed his agent early on in the season. And not only did he win the Cup Series, but the Xfinity race he raced in that exact week. He swept those races that week right after his agent died, or his publicist. You correct me on what he was, but he was a legend, whatever. He actually died the same week as another like legendary announcer, or no, he wasn't an announcer. Sorry, he was like a columnist, not a columnist, but he wrote on NASCAR and stuff like that. And he was like super well known. He was like considered a legend. He was around NASCAR, from its like inception almost. And that guy died, and also Kyle Larson's manager / agent, publicist, whatever he was. So let's not forget that. And I've mentioned it a couple times, is like maybe we're just getting a little far-sighted with this whole narrative, and like sometimes it for all we know, it could be just that simple. Like they put the blood on the altar, so he signed up to win it, and this is all just for show, and he already won it that day that he killed a man, or so they said. So you never know. And obviously there's lots of movies and media, backing those thoughts and ideas up. And we are dealing with an order, that the Jesuit order, to be exact, that is no stranger to ritual and doing whatever for those who align, that show their allegiance to them. We've talked about that multiple times, obviously. But yeah, why I mentioned them is obviously going is the 201. That's the number of the Jesuit order. Welcome to our channel. Welcome to Zach's channel. This is the real world 201. So it's not 101, but it's the advanced course. But these are things you guys got to know. And their calling card are on almost every track, and I think every track that we've looked up has, telling numbers that trace back to the Jesuit order, whether or not it's, a 54 on the board or a 201, like in Martinsville, all sorts of craziness. So we've been tracking and talking about how much they've had to do with where these tracks are set up, down to their founding dates and things of that nature. But yeah, so long story short, look out for Kyle Larson to potentially be that representative, with 201 playing a big role in the playoffs, as you mentioned earlier. Toyota getting a 201st win in the playoffs this year too, with that whole Joe Gibbs trifecta repeat, with Bell finishing it out just like he did finish his three-peat earlier this year. Lots of fun stuff that we've talked about that's come to fruition again and reminded us out of our earlier calls this year. But besides the 201 on the board, a reminder that, Blaney races for Penske, which equals 56 like NASCAR. So there's a small connection there. But potentially bigger connection is, Ryan Blaney's full name, Ryan Michael Blaney, does equal 93. We've talked about this multiple times. And peep that Martinsville, Virginia equals 93, and 93 is no arbitrary number. It has, it's connected to time, death, Saturn, things of that nature. If you know anything about Aleister Crowley, which just had his birthday last week, or anniversary, that's related to Thelema, which is the worship of the number 93. So that's a whole nother rabbit hole, but it's not an arbitrary number. But funnily enough, from Blaney's New Year's birthday, from this race to Blaney's New Year's birthday is 66 days away. But also that could be read as 9 weeks and 3 days, like 93. So that's very interesting.
Yep, and just like Dave Blaney driving that 93, his dad there, a lot of people forget about that. He drove the 93 back in 2000, the 93 Pontiac. He drove it back in 2001 as well as a Dodge Intrepid. And he switched over to the 77 in 2002, so there's a reason why he drove that 93.
Which is why we talk about the nepotism in this all the time. Of course, it's clear with the Gibbs having such a great season with his son or with his grandson driving. I just want to show it. Here we go. The number 93. So his daddy drove the 93. Names his son 93. Interesting.
Yeah, his best finish ever was third back in 2003. It was Ricky Craven and Kurt Busch at Darlington when they had that was the closest finish ever. It was Pontiac's last win too. Craven over Busch, and Dave Blaney was coming. He was running him down. He almost had him there at the end. But yeah, it's interesting. That was his best finish ever, and that was the closest finish. Pontiac's last win, and like I said, he drove the Pontiac in 2000, the 93, and then Dodge Intrepid actually had that car, a little NASCAR of the I think the Intrepid one, 2001, but
from Daddy Blaney's birthday. Because his dad's birthday is 2 days before the race. So I thought that was interesting.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, from his, let's see, to his next birthday. From his last birthday, it's just a year and 2 days, obviously. So yeah, this is right after his daddy's birthday. So that would be a double birthday surprise.
Yeah.
If Blaney gets in on this next race. So keep that in mind, people. And, obviously we are pretty much counting on that. Not like, it's not like we're confirming it or anything like that, but our narrative is counting on pretty much one of these two getting in with a win, basically. So that's obviously the first person we looked into so far, but might as well. Oh, and then I don't know if I mentioned that about Blaney winning the last 2 times at Martinsville too. So there's that like weird. Oh, I think I slightly mentioned it, yeah. But there's that interesting. It's been a season of threes, that's for sure. So like giving him a 3-peat, I could see it happening. I could see it happen. There's apart from our the narrative we've talked about, I could see it just to give him that 3 years in a row at Martinsville. So and interestingly enough, Larson has the best record at Martinsville besides Blaney. 2 out of the 3 guys we talked about basically are poised to win this next race. And but yeah, let's look at Kyle Larson next. Another Mr. 201 we've talked about. Mr. Miata. Let's see. July 31st.
Yeah, him and Blaney got the 31st birthdays.
Mm-hmm. It's got 12 weeks, 87 days from his birthday. Nine months, 5 days. 95 is kind of interesting. When was our guy's last in May 11th? I should remember that. May 11th, the race is almost 24 weeks ago. Interesting. We obviously racing for Jeff Gordon. 168 days ago. Oh, this one was 138. What else was he? Hendrick Motorsports. Let's see. What's Gordon's birthday? It's like August 4th. Yeah, 84. Hmm.
83.
2 months and 22 days.
Yeah.
So his next birthday is 40 weeks, 2 days. 9 months, 9 days. It's interesting. Let's quickly look at actually let's just keep him up there. He's got a November 25th birthday. Mr. Gibbs. Just 30 days later, just a month after this, he turns 85. He'll be in his 86th year.
Getting up there.
He's going to be starting to figure out where we're decoding his demise.
Yeah.
Because you're absolutely right. I mean, Homie looks pretty decent. I mean, he's out there like every race, and he's like constantly doing like press stuff for his team. So they're using this guy. They're juicing him for all he's worth.
I don't wonder how many laps around the sun he's got left. What laps you got in you, Joe?
He definitely, he's on it. Got the restrictor plate in there installed. He's slowing down. And then, yeah, Roger and oh yeah, February 20th. So more interesting that you got dropped to 0 on the 20th. You got 2-2 February 20th. Obviously, you mentioned
Cobain's birthday.
Exactly. But also his driver in the playoffs right now, number 22, Logano.
Yep. I know accident Kurt Cobain's birthday is 88.
Okay. Well, internet did that drop thing again. Hopefully I wasn't just staring off into space and you guys don't see that on the video. But, well, I guess I prefer it, not that you guys wouldn't be affected by it, but yeah, my internet's dropped a couple of times now. Not my internet entirely, but just like the stream. So interesting. Hopefully that's not an omen. This has literally never happened until today. So hopefully that doesn't persist.
I know YouTube was having some issues like a few days ago. It was like 2-3 days ago, it was being weird. Like it was kind of down for like a little bit, or it wasn't like working for like a little bit. But
anyway, let's just hope we can get through this. But yes, February 2nd or 20th. To his next birthday is 117 days later. Roger Penske. Oh, the 56. We talked about that. So
they call him the captain.
look it up. No, 56. What do you know?
Yep. 43, like NASCAR too.
Yeah, exactly. Roger Penske. The big mover.
Steering the ship of NASCAR.
Right down the toilet.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Let's see. There's a couple ways to go about Penske. There's Penske Racing.
And Penske's got that 25 too.
Yeah, I saw that. Penske by itself does have that 25. And there's Team Penske. Racking. Got the 161 Team Penske and Team Penske Racing. Actually,
yep.
Yeah, these owners, I mean, watch Gordon die first.
Yeah.
Yeah, 88 and 85. And then Gordon just drops dead at 50. He's 54 for a while. Interesting. That'd be a big story for NASCAR. Probably I mean, they have a habit of killing their biggest stars young. Like, so
Yeah.
I don't know know. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe he does like a charity race. Blows up. I'm not this. I shouldn't be laughing. I'm not laughing at the idea of someone dying. It's just like in my brain, I don't think of these things as real events and things of that nature. But if it were real, that's obviously not funny. But in my head, I'm not thinking of it in that way. Also, I don't care either way. But I'm just being honest. I'm not thinking about it that way. And honestly, I wouldn't have even heard of NASCAR if it weren't for him. So there's that too. This was in my early youth was his heyday, and yeah, the only reason I ever heard about people driving in oval formations was because of him. I mean, interestingly enough, I mean he's got that middle Michael name too.
Yeah.
I guess that's worth just for. Also, I forget that his name is Jeffrey. How does he spell? Jeffrey. Jeffrey, come here.
Jeffrey.
Jeffrey Michael Gordon. Just the Gordon's fishing. Funny, he's got the 24 in his full name too.
Yep.
You just can't run from it. You can't drive from it either. Now let's look at good old Gibbies. Joe Jackson. Joe Jackson Gibbs. Jesus.
Action Jackson.
Joe Jackson. Joe Jackson stars.
52.
It's 260. I call him what? Dream Joe Gibbs. 56. their little pet names are always related too. So funny. El Capitan. Ooh, let's see. Roger's full name too. Roger Searle. Oh, Searle is a. If I just type in Searle, what do I get? That sounds like a name. Different. John Searle is an American philosopher. He died this year? Wait, he died a month ago? Almost to the day? Who is this guy? Why am I looking him up all of a sudden? Sexual assault allegations. What do you know?
93.
He's born in Tampa, Florida, too. Isn't that where like NASCAR started?
Yeah, like Daytona, yeah.
That was a little bit of a side note. I mean, if you guys feel like looking into it, that's probably where I've heard that name before. It's a rare name, and I know there's a famous Searle. Maybe that guy is the famous Searle. I've just heard that name come up before. So it's not a common name. Got the 266, got the 95. Interesting.
Roger Dadder.
I got the 193, which is, let's see here and say that means anything, but it is a little interesting. Well, those are the team owners left in it. And definitely rituals being paid to Joe Gibbs this season. Mr. 33. Joe Gibbs 33, Gibbs 33. Certainly Masonic with the three-peat captured by Bell at the Shriners 400, an obvious Masonic ritual throughout the race as well. And we've talked about it. It's still worth talking about because it's so funny. But you had Catherine Legge, the only woman driver, and Bubba Wallace, the only black driver, crash into each other and take each other out in the Masonic race. Don't worry, guys. If you know, you know. But I'm not going to sit here and explain it again. Think Masons. Why would that matter with masonry?
The hubba kind of Bubba.
Oh, it's a different kind of Bubba. Oh, Bubba. Hubba bubble bubble gum. Hubba bubble bubble butt. Just scratch that from the record. I'll cut it.
His goofiness is like perfect for like that commercial. It's like
He like makes me laugh and pisses me off at the same time when I hear him speak. So I don't know. It's tough. Okay, so next step. Why don't we look at a man of the hour, good old Christopher Bell. Who, by the way, we kind of like glossed over him because it does look like he's more than likely in to the next round potentially. Obviously, things can shake up, whatever. But he has a good chance of getting to the next round. You know, making it 3 out of 4 Gibbs
especially
drivers.
if Larson has a bad race, then he's going to be in. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's like we said, that's really the only really viable, unless something crazy happens to where both of them have a bad race and two drivers have extremely great races that are in the bottom 4 or the bottom 4 through 8, including winning the race. So odds are that him or Larson are in more than likely. But Bell, he's put himself in a position to kind of have that great fall potentially. Not saying it will happen, but it would be noteworthy that he just hasn't, that he's been so consistent, but like doesn't win. They do that quite often too. It's something to think about. I think I don't know if I mentioned it other than before when we were talking, but yeah, he's the only other uh, playoff driver in the top 10. So he's the only one that top 10, which is like crazy. It's like you have all these drivers racing for their lives. And like, think how different this discussion could be if like Blaney finished 4th and Logano finished 3rd, and like they maybe took a stage at some point. But no, the way like this is what we were talking about with the way these races happened
Like
is
I could understand if like they got wrecked out or something, and they that's why they didn't finish. But no, they were still driving on the track. They weren't wrecked out. They didn't crash. They just didn't even finish up there. It's like what?
I mean, with 21 laps to go, we had both Blaney and Logano 1-2 and Larson Byron 1-2, and they're nowhere to be seen, even in the top 20. Guys, come on,
Yeah,
come on now.
Byron literally had like a quarter mile to go.
Yeah,
Like a quarter mile to go, and he gets a good finish.
Lap. They were 1-2 in the last lap.
Yeah,
guys. So like, holy shit, the manipulation goes quick, especially when you can see that they love doing that with these kinds of setups of races too, when they're all bunched together in these restrictor place races. I mean, how many different leaders do you have on these kinds of races? It's just like it's so hard to track because they're all just together. So his birthday is 51 days after. Chris has that 33 too.
Yep.
David. I think, isn't David a 33 too? No, 32. Okay. Well, what do you know? This man's got another 33 in it. Oh, okay. I mean, you guys are seeing the relations to the drivers and teams and owners and stuff, guys. It's crazy. They just hyper code it. It's kind of wild.
It's got the 210, 102 together. Had the 201 race lined up for him. Got Toyota's 201st win. The numbers are all right there.
They certainly do. And Gibbs 21 as well.
Yep.
Keep that in mind. And then what's the other one?
Byron, or oh yeah, that Ty Gibbs.
I thought there was a 33 related with him besides his last name, obviously. But anyway, what was Bell's last win? It was. I'm gonna have to just look it up because I don't remember the exact date. I know it was the first round. My daughter's belting it out in her room, singing something. Okay, it was Bristol. Okay. "43 days ago, 6 weeks in a day."
Like NASCAR, 43.
Yeah, that's something to think about. How old is Mr. Bell? Okay, he's 30. Been kind of not doing as much of my due diligence either. Yeah, it would be his 14th win. I've been forgetting to look at the wins. Hey, Lena, can you keep it down, please?
Karaoke night.
Seriously, I'm pretty sure she has her karaoke microphone. That's the only way I can assume that she's doing it. All right, who's next? See if something pops out. We'll skip on Briscoe and Danny's Hamlin.
Yeah, they already got their wins. That's 6 guys to keep an eye on.
Let's take a look at Joey Logano Thomas. Now he's got the May 24th birthday. And I know his last win was May 4th. 22 weeks.
Yeah.
Interesting. And then from his last win,
25 week.
exactly 5 months, 22 days too, which is Lena Boo. Can you maybe just shut your door? And try to keep it a little lower, please. Any other day, I'd be in there with her singing. So a little bit of interesting stuff to note there. Let's see, what's he done last in Martinsville? Let's He's obviously placed well, third in placement since 2022. Since
Could have
22.
won, I think, back in like 2015, and then he got wrecked out by Matt Kenseth, and Jeff Gordon ended up winning, and that was a second to last race for a chance to race for the championship at Homestead.
Yeah, I said he hasn't. Yeah, he
I think
hasn't
that was
won there.
probably as close as he ever came to winning Martinsville too. So that was a decade ago. That's interesting. That was a decade ago.
Mm-hmm. A couple interesting things to do with him. On to the next.
I think we just got Byron and Chase Elliott.
And Blaney, I don't think we've done. Or no, we looked at Blaney's first. What am I talking about? Good old William McComas, not Byron. November 29th. $34 days.
4 weeks, 6 days. Could be a sacrifice.
He'll be turning 28.
Going into his 29th year of life.
Let's take a look here. Good old William Byron Lee.
Be the golden boy in a year.
True. Going for his 16th win. He has won in Martinsville in 2000, just last year. So he took the early race at Martinsville last year. Interesting. His last win, August 3rd. I'll look at Martinsville win too. 84 days ago. Like his owner's birthday, 8-4.
Yep. 12 weeks exactly.
And what was it? April 7th?
$81.
Weeks.
Yeah. One year and 202 days.
I'll have to really look at that. How you spell it? Mick Comas. Yeah. Oh, there's a junior too.
95, just like Jeff Gordon won it in 95, 30 years ago.
But where's, I guess it's better to look up Bill Lee, huh? Where's he from? Where's he born? Franklin, Tennessee. Okay.
Franklin.
He was born out of state.
I think Sterling Marlin was from Franklin, Tennessee.
Wonder if there's anything upcoming. It's not like Virginia has a team, so. Anyway. Okay, let's see. Last one, Mr. Elliott.
He's definitely going to have to win.
Yep. And that's been the talk since the beginning of this last round, is that he's going to have to win. Oh, excuse me. November 20. I mean, dude, I'm gonna have to make it. That should be fun going through and listing all the birthdays. Their birthdays are so close together. There's been like a
And they're all
29th.
teammates that are a day apart too. Teammates.
It's wild. Test tubes, guys. Oh, it's 28th. Oh. 33 days from his birthday.
4 weeks, 5 days. It's interesting.
He'll be 30 years old. Just another driver for 30 years ago. Winning, Jeff Gordon winning. Interesting. Another William in disguise too. You can put that Chase face on all you want. You're a William, and you're going to act like a William.
You're William just like me, Chase. You're just like me. You got a William in you.
Don't we all got the little Willie in us?
Y'all got that Nirvana.
The
The Nirvana's just flowing out of you.
William Clyde Chase. What? Let's just add the Chase in there. The Chase for the cut. While we're on the subject of Chase too, it's pretty funny too how you have the polarity too, with like a Chase on top and a Chase on the bottom.
And one's driving a 19, one's driving a 9.
Very true. Both numbers ending in 9. But I mean, look, did I already say this, or did I say this only when we were talking? Maybe I already said it. Sorry if I'm repeating myself, but oh no, I did. I mentioned it when I was talking about Sports Center Brain. Yeah, but still, I can't. I mean, I've said something either exactly this or something very similar, talking about how when we noticed that there was 2 chases in the playoffs. It's just so dumb how that's what this all is about, guys. It's just being able to fuel the next headlines. That's what all this crap is about. It's really, really, really frustrating that you can't clue more people in on it, because they should not be emotional. You can still like the sport too. I'm not hating on people that like sports, or like, if I bet I could still enjoy watching like highlights of sports. I think I could probably still enjoy watching them, cool plays and things of that nature. But I know it's rigged. I'm never going to be like anticipating or like getting nervous if my team's down with 4 seconds on the clock. I don't care. I don't give a shit. No, I don't care what happens. Buzzer beater, I don't care. But it's not like I would disavow people like enjoying watching certain things, but just the obvious mockery right in front of our face. It's like, at least pay that some mind, and then go ahead and say you still like the act of the sport, but don't but too many people don't even know about the mockery that's going on right in front of their face, which is frustrating. He's the second. Aye, Captain. What about it? It's without the Chase nickname. It's going to that 104. What about his slave name? Oh, wait, it's 2 L's. He's got the base 8201 in his name. The disappearing 201.
Yep. 69 like Illuminati, 48.
How old was he turning? Oh, yeah, 30.
Yep, 30 birdie.
And let's see. Be going for his 22nd win. Last win September 28th, so 28 days ago.
4 weeks exactly.
Since Chase was highlighted, let's see. Chase equals 99? That's interesting. Hmm. Hmm.
Both Chases got a 9.
Well, I hate to hang my hat on it, but I guess I'll go down with the ship, and then we'll see where it goes from there. Maybe someone will let me park my chunky ass on their floating door and survive. I don't know what I'm talking about, but yeah, if the narrative doesn't come through with Blaney or Logano by this time next week, I guess we'll go to the next thing on the next narrative on the board. But like you said, I think that one way or another, it's going to be much clearer and much more evident what they're playing at, or what they're moving towards after next week, as close as we are this week. But yeah, man, as it's like half sorrow, half anticipation. Not sorrow, that's a bad word, but like half nervousness and half anticipation for
I
where.
noticed on their both, you got 38 points, like Gematria, 38, and you got 47 points for Blaney. So no coincidence they're behind that far either.
Yeah, 47 been a big number. Yeah, of course, we talked about 47 a lot in relation to Trump this year. And of course, you had a breakout season by the number 88 car, and the year that Trump took his motorcade out for the initial lap, whatever. What do they call that?
Like the pace lap.
The pacer car. So we've been tracking this all year. There's one more thing we could, I suppose, look at. Is Mr. Prevost. I guess, and Trump, right? Let's just quickly look at that. Like, let's look at in relation to November 2nd, June 14th. Obviously, that being the day that the Cup winner will be called. Whoa, 20 weeks in one day.
No.
What do you know?
And 4 months and 19 days. So there's your 419, April 19th.
Oh, good point. Holy shit. They're packing it in there. You guys don't know. Oh, dude, stream cut out right as I said that. That's crazy. All right.
They
Well,
pedal for like 10 to 15 seconds.
that's what I'm saying. Wait,
They
so
know
did
we're
you?
onto them. They know we're onto them.
That's what I was. That's crazy. I was like, the stream will cut out and it just cuts out. All right, sure. Well, that's very interesting. So keep an eye on that. Who won the inaugural race? Byron. Byron won.
Yep.
Interesting. Interesting. Okay, well, that's something I haven't. I'm going to write that down so I don't forget to. 20 weeks, 1 day from Trump B-Day. 11 slash. All right, let's look at Mr. the gay pope, the other gay pope, the next gay pope. From what I hear, he's just been like super lenient on all the gay stuff.
He's here and he's queer.
Oh, yeah. September 14th, another 14th date. Seven weeks exactly. Interesting. 1 month and 19 days.
Ooh. Got a 419. We got a 119.
119 and 47.
25. Yeah.
This is oh yeah, he's got the Masonic, super Masonic numbers there. The 139.58.
Next week's episode 58.
True. Pope Leo has the 84 and 24.
Yep.
Is Gordon blessed by the Pope? Will he be
Gordy.
kissing? Will he suck the Pope's toes? Will he? Tune in to find out.
All those 84s, like you had all the 3 Austins in the race today. And Austin Hill won and then the next race is the Xfinity race. And the Xfinity race yesterday was won by Austin Hill. He won both stages, won the race, and he was flipping off the the fans as he was doing his burnout. He was flipping everybody off. So he's the new villain in NASCAR.
Oh, okay. I
Hate
didn't
the
know.
hill.
Did not know that. Let's see. That's something we had covered. Got lost in the sauce here. Forgot about Xfinity, which is funny enough because it's moving to the Xfinity race next week.
And he drives the 21. Austin equals 21.
Okay, so more Austins down low too. All right, so it should say in the Xfinity. Yeah, no shit. Yeah, Austin Hill on the 21.
$44.
So let's just take a quick peek and then let's move on to our next topic. Oh dear Lord! Oh Lord, he coming! Oh Lord, he coming! He a big boy. Don't talk about my boy like that. He a good boy. Austin Edward Hill.
Edward.
Man, they're really gonna make a Ginger their poster boy, bad boy. All right, bold choice. Bold choice. I guess he's, he doesn't have a soul to to care about people's hate towards him. All right, enough of that. Austin Edward Hill, 72. Even even the 180, like 18, like IHS.
Yeah.
IHS 18 twice. And the 72, obviously, I say obviously, but it's a big factor in Jesuit order. Interesting. More Austins. Oh, I didn't realize Gilliland finished so well in the Xfinity race too, because he raced. He was up there. He was like He was with he was with Blaney and Logano. He was sandwiched in between them. Well, parts of it. He was also third parts of it, but it was like 1, 2, and 3 between him and Byron. Or I mean,
I think he's either like David Gilliland's brother related to him, because there used to be David Gilliland or whatever, so it must be some kind of relation.
Yep, son of David Gilliland.
Yep.
Gotta love it. You just gotta love it. Oh, Gibbs did well too. Oh, tripping. Somehow I took away the Xfinity race. Interesting. Cavapple. What a
Quaffle.
name.
Yeah, he's related too. Travis Quaffle. He's from Wisconsin too.
The fuck? You say it like that? Quaffle?
Travis Quaffle.
What are they, like Serbian or something?
He likes his waffle. He must be Travis Quaffle's kid or something.
He is.
Hmm?
Carson Wade. Carson. Come on! Stop it! Stop! This is Josh? Justin. Okay. Yo, he's excited. Yo, old man. Pushing 40.
Good old Wisconsin drivers, Matt Kenseth and Scott Wimmer and Paul Menard and Travis Quaffle and Alan Kawicki. And can't forget Dick Trickle.
Never have, never will.
I think Jimmy Sauter or Jay Sauter too is from Wisconsin. So like all these guys, but like the only one that's like really relevant's like really Matt Kenseth and maybe Alan Kawicki.
He's 49. Holy shit. He's pushing 50. Oh, it's from Parkland. Interesting. What a place.
Honey Man.
Honey Man. Give me a honey man.
I seen that name. Like, oh, don't let Honey Man win. We're gonna have a honeymoon.
Are you home, honey man? Come in and give Big Daddy a kiss.
Are you ready for your honeymoon, Honey Man?
Come and get some honey, man. I was gonna say this guy's name is Jordan too. That was crazy. Jesse Love. His name is Jess Hill. The fuck is that? What's Jess Hill? They're just making shit up, dude. Another Michael middle name too. Jess Hill.
Just Hill. Right. I don't think he sneezed or something. Just Hill.
Bless you. I thought he did, dude.
Just Hill. Just Hill. No, I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you.
Interesting. All right. Well, where did our boy finish?
He got banged up in a recce, but he so I think he had a replacement driver, actually. I think there was a replacement driver for him. Keeping him fresh for the last 2 races.
Interesting. Honeyman gets loose. Yo. He's right themselves. Honeyman gets loose. I mean, come on. Come on, guys. Like it let's just move on. Let's move on.
I'm gonna be crying here if I keep laughing anymore.
It's cooked.
I'm gonna turn my name into Jess Hill.
Jess Hill.
Jess Hill. Jess Hill.
All right. Well, this has been a good stress reliever, all this laughing. But yeah, why don't you kick us off into phase 2 of our show tonight? Like we spoke early on about we're going to touch on a couple different prevailing topics from last week, having to do with, as you mentioned, stress, but also, that feeling of, I guess I don't want to say like being alone necessarily, but I guess I'll let you kick it off to see where we take it. But why don't you lead us off in the next category?
Yeah, the it's like the importance of like balance in life. Like I think that's something that's, as we talk, like I said, about like health and sleep and everything and dreams and all these things and stretching and working out. Like balance is life is all about balance. But you know, and um, and like I said, sense of belonging. But with starting off with like balance, that's and balance in sense of belonging too. That's something too. Just like health and sleep is different for everybody, but like that's another thing that's going on like in the world where like a lot of people are really struggling with finding a balance, and it's hard today because you got all the stuff going on in the world. You got to work and make money and um, do the adult things of the adult world, and just all the problems that we're faced with today, and everyone's different. Some people they got to worry about you know some people maybe they got money, maybe they don't, or they're worried about maybe being homeless or their job or their family or their marriage or whatever they got going on. But um it's so easy to get like just caught up in stuff and just kind of get, you know, overwhelmed, and just kind of life can just kind of just be a bit much at times. And it's hard because like uh a lot of times it's hard to find like a balance. Like you gotta have somewhat fun and things you enjoy. And it's like, for me it's like the gym and the trampoline park and running and just basic stuff like that. But it's like, there's more to life, and it's hard to today to find a balance of either like consistent like friends or people to either hang out with or things to do, and just kind of ways to maybe not feel so overwhelmed, and just to kind of have just maybe more going on. And whether it's friends or family or relationships or whatever, I mean, it can be very hard to have a balance and find a balance today. And a lot of it stems from is kind of a sense of belonging and a loss of that as well, with just the world and how things are. And it's like, it's easy to just kind of work yourself and to death, or just to do too much, and then you just feel burnt out, and you just don't you get burned out, and you just don't want to really do anything, or maybe you don't feel like yourself. And um almost, I'd say just about everybody has an issue with balance in their life, or maybe a lack thereof, maybe just kind of a disturbance of the balance, or things just don't have a good rhythm, or they're out of rhythm. And it's hard to kind of deal with that, because it's like, and things are always changing. I mean, but like a sense of belonging is something too that I think plays a big role in it. Because it's just like, today it's like, I look at myself too, and like and even like this, like this community too, like even like myself, and how like, like I said, like I'm trying to like get things going, and try and work and stuff like this weekend too. I didn't get any, like yesterday I was trying to see if I got a job on like TaskRabbit or anything. I didn't get any job yesterday or anything. So it was like the first time in like a few weeks where I didn't get any work, or in like in a month. So it's kind of something to see how it goes. So maybe I'll get a job next weekend, next Saturday or something to pick up. But just trying to find like a sense of belonging. Like it's almost impossible today to really have um that companionship and really fit in with anything. It's just like, even if people like at the gym, like I try to like talk to people and get things rolling with other people, but it's just like everyone today is kind of just locked into themselves, their own little world, and they're just, or it's about money or status, or people just look at you like, or, they don't really want to hang out with you or help out, or build a team, or work together, or just, and I just, and it's hard because it's just like you look around and it's just like, sometimes it's like, man, it's like, is it better to just go, like I always say, like, is it just time to just get out of the country and just go live down in like Belize and just go chill on, just go chill and just eat my watermelon and fruit all day and just chill by myself and just lounge out where the food, water, shelter's all there and I don't got to do nothing. It's sometimes it's almost like it's like that's really the way, because it's like there's just no today. It's like there's just really no sense of belonging, and everyone's kind of just in their own little world. Like even like with my little like vitamin stuff like that, my little live good thing I've been trying to do. Like I know there's someone at the gym, they've kind of taken over one like the personal training positions like in the last like 6 months or so, and they've been working there, and I said I think they're working on like a website or something, and I texted him and gave my my number and stuff, and then I texted him the link and stuff. He said he was building a website and stuff, and I thought that'd be a perfect thing, to add that in, to help me try and make a little extra money, help him, other people and stuff. But I mean, it's just like, it's pretty much impossible to really work with anybody today, and to build things and try and, even try and build a business or anything. It's like everything today is just like, it's all about you. It's all about yourself. It's so hard to see anything like, unless I like left the country, like I said. I mean, I don't see like family and what, and like having a wife and like anything and friends or anything here in America, because it's just like, or even community for that. And you brought up a great point, even last week too. I think after the show, just like, looking at where we are and things too, and like how things have been going with us. And then, you look at like even like King Richard and stuff, a great decoder, a great member of the community. And there's no one really around in the chats that really, view his work. And it's just like, even like Zach, I know Zach's been saying a lot lately too. He just doesn't really have the motivation to really make a lot of videos and do much. And it's just kind of, nobody really cares unless it's really about the sports and stuff. And everyone's just kind of been falling off. And it's just, it's very hard today to really find a balance and a sense of belonging, when it really comes to just about anything. I mean, it's just like, to me, everything is just like so short lived. Like, maybe you meet someone, or you hang out, or maybe you're friends, but it's like at best, maybe it lasts like a day or maybe a week or a month, or, a few months tops. And it's just like, from there, it's just kind of over. People change. Or, 'cause I've even noticed, like, even at like the gym, like a lot of people I was talking to, like, at the end of last year, or the start of this year, or like last year, when this year, or like even like January, February, March, April, it's like, they all seem like completely different people now. Like the way they act, the way they just don't really like, maybe they don't really talk to you, really like pay much attention to you anymore. It's like they don't really care. It's just like, you would think like, you would be building with people and you'd be growing with people, but that just doesn't happen. Like I always say, like, it's just like, America isn't for like family and like friends and community. It's just really about making money. That's all the United States and America is about anymore. It's about making money. It's just like, there's no point to anything else. And it's just like, I look around and it's like, yeah, like I said, I'm trying to make more money myself and try and do things and, just set up my TaskRabbit or other side jobs, side gigs, just to kind of do stuff. But it's like, for the most part, I don't, fucking care about, just making money and fucking care about, so much like bettering my life and doing better and, trying to beat like generational curses and, all the stupid shit. Like, I don't really care about any of that. Like I'm more about just like trying to have like an experience or a vibe or just something. It's just like, everything today is just, it's become so weird. Everybody's just so weird, and you just don't know what people are thinking. It's like, you kind of feel like you got a vibe or a friendship with someone, but it's just, you can't really know, and you can't really tell. And it's just like, other people, it's just like, they're all just, I don't know, like, everyone's just kind of their own individual in their own individual world. And it's just, I don't know. It's just, it's just, it's a weird, strange time we're in. People are very weird and strange. And I just feel like we've kind of reached that point where we were just kind of past like, um, anything like kind of meaningful or like anything of like abundance, like coming out of anything, like because everything today it's just like everyone's just kind of, and it's a doggy dog world too. It's a doggy dog world, and everyone's just kind of out for themselves, um and like I get why a lot of people just kind of give up and they don't really care and they don't really want to really do anything. I do understand that, because it is like, and I say it all the time. I mean, I just, it's like, what do we do if we're this rare and there's like there's just no one to reach out to. There's like no one to seemingly care and want to really do anything. It's just it does, and it's like that's where, like the balance too. The balance kind of it throws things off too, because it's just like, you'd like to, have friends and have fun and, try and, go build something or go do something, but it's like you already know and expect that it's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to last, and it's just how people are. I mean, it's like you said. You made a great point last week. Like even talk about like, how like King Richard. There's just no one in his streams. There's no one in lives. There's not many people in the community, and even like with Zach, I mean, everyone's just falling off and disappearing. And it's just like most people just care about the sports, just care about making money or trying to make money. That's like all people care about, and it's just like it's just it's a very weird, difficult time to be trying to like move forward with life, because it's just like I do want to work, I do want to do things, I do want to work hard, I do want to try and succeed and do things, but it's to the point where it's become, most people are just in like this like toxic obsession with stuff like that, where it's just become like overly toxic, where it's just like, that's what it's all about. Like I'm just to the point where I just like, I just don't really even care anymore. I'm living my life. I'm doing what I got to do. We're coming on here every week. We're consistent. We're banging these things out, but we ourselves, we don't really care too much about, the views and making money here. We want to get, other people on here. We want to get, other people. I don't care who it is, but like just anyone or anything, just to like breathe life into the world and just, hear like just other people when it comes to anything. Like I said, I mean, if you can work the gematria and the people, that's great. But I mean, I can already see with like so many people. I mean, you try and talk to them about stuff, or you try to show them something, and it's like, I don't know. It's weird. It's like people either think like you're trying to like almost sabotage them, or they're like almost like kind of worried about you, or maybe they just think that they're like better than you, or like they kind of maybe put you down. I don't know. It's just weird trying to like gauge people and see where people are at. And it's like everyone's a bit different, but I mean, it's just like trying to find it's like purpose. It's like, because when I think of purpose, I mean, to me, it's just like the only purpose I really have is just kind of to be one with nature. I mean, just as long as you're one with nature, you're just one with the land, you're just doing your thing. I mean, that's all to me that really matters. I mean, everything else is just secondary. I mean, everyone else is, like I said, they're worried about money. I mean, they're worried about, fake fucking digital numbers on a fucking screen. I mean, I don't care. It's like, it's just, they're just so worried. It's like, well, you got to have that money. You can't do anything. It's just like everyone does money, money, money. It's just like, the fact everybody makes to be about money is like why I just don't care about it as much. Like I just like why I don't care about so much shit. It's just, and it's just like this world is becoming this like toxic cesspool where it's all about, oh, you got to do better. And you got to always improve. And you got to do this. You got to do that. And it's like, yeah, I agree with all that, but it's like it comes a point where it's like you also got to know like when to quit with things and when to give things up, and when to tap out when it comes to things as well. And uh, that's something I'm definitely learning too as I get older and stuff. I mean, I think a lot of people are just, they're in these mindsets that it's like, that don't really do them any good. It's just like they're all about like overly competitiveness, or just like, everyone's trying to one up somebody else instead of just being themselves and being their own individual and just being unique. I mean, it's just everyone's just got to, and it's just weird. It's just like, you see society, it's just like why society is the way it is and why it's getting worse. And then it's just like, you would think that like, people like us, like we'd be, out motivating, inspiring people, but it's just like most people are just they're so just in tune with themselves and their own world, and they just like they can't escape that. It's like I said, like the sense of belonging, whether you're talking like just in your own community or in this country or in the world, this there it really doesn't exist anymore. It's like there's just no such thing as friends and families and people just like really being this like real and legit with each other anymore. Like it just, yeah, I don't know. It's just everyone just there. It's like I said, it's like all about small talk. Like, they just want to, go home with their wife or whatever and just go watch football or something stupid or watch sports, or they just kind of care too much about their job. They don't care about, having an open-minded conversation. It's just, and I've seen it too. Just like people like have just changed lately, like this, like the way people were 6 months ago. I've noticed a huge change and shift in people in the last 6 months, and like it throws off your balance. It throws off your sense of belonging with the world and your what you're doing, and it's just like we just come to such a point where it's just like, I mean, I just don't even know. It's just like it's hard to know like what to do. And like we only got, like we said, we're talking, we only got two more NASCAR races left to call this year, and then we're going to be having a total openness to whatever, people coming on here or just finding other interesting things to talk about or look into, or um whatever. So we're kind of going into our own transitional time coming up in the next few weeks, and I'm really looking forward to that as well, and just seeing where that goes. But yeah, it's just kind of like a call out or a last call maybe to humanity, like for people, like I said, and just trying to reach out and find people to that just, whatever people want to talk about, just to come on here, just to get people um some sense of life, and just like you were saying, like, like old friends just coming together, having a good time, talking, laughing, that's what this world is missing. I don't know why more people aren't. And I don't know if it's just because we're old and we lived through that, and these younger people just really didn't. But it's just, I don't know. Everyone just changed and is different today, and it's just I don't know. It's just different. It's just like that spark, that excitement that used to be there with stuff. It's just not there anymore. Or maybe you think it is, but it just doesn't last. And people are just different. I mean, everyone's just got their own thing going on, and that just seems to be the reality of what we're living in today. Everyone's in their own little world.
Well, very well put. I okay, we're back. That didn't last as long as last time. That's worries me every single time it pops out. Sorry, guys, just for that. This is the first time this has ever happened, so bear with us. But as I was saying, I'll try to go point for point with you. And you mentioned balance, the theme of the episode. And I think one thing is that people don't know, for one, but also the people who do know might not pay it any mind. But we're in a phase of a plan for this world. We're in a phase of it. Now, there's God's plan for this world, and we're also in a phase of that. And that's something more personal, I believe. But as far as the outside influence, we're in a phase of their plan. And you can either go against the tide, or you can ebb and flow with it. And you got a lot of people that are more than willing to go with it, and then we have people that are going against the tide, and it's not, I think there's not enough recognition that that's what they're doing. Like, that's what you're doing, Austin. That's why these things are going to be hard. People are going to you know link up with your energy right away, because they're on cog time. They're on, they got stuff to do, like machines in the Matrix. They're programmed to do something else. And it'd be nice to say, our spirits can break them out of that. And maybe that is true with, continued work on people. I'm not trying to make this super esoteric or like strange in that way or energy based, but there is a level of that. But even never mind all that, people are. One thing I've noticed is that, you mentioned it in the idea of like starting a business, and look at what business means nowadays. I'm talking, even if you have legitimate goods to sell, the number one thing you can do is present an image, is to sell your image. Your image is more important than the good that you sell nowadays. So
Yep.
like, think about the birth of influencers. It's like people's jobs are to make an image of themselves, make that large, and then attach money to it with sponsors and ads and all, and selling out for certain things. And I'm not saying just making money off stuff is necessarily selling out, but I'm talking about the ones that are true sellouts. But yeah, I mean, that's the business model, is something that is going to fit the digital age. You have a analog mind in a digital world. If that makes more sense of what I'm trying to say. You want to build something meaningful from point A to point Z. That's not how it's done. The world works on shortcuts. You have to find a way to shortcut. You got to go A, G, L, Q, Z. Those are in between things. You got to find a way to cut all that shit out. That's not important. Making, reputable friends along the way, that's not important. Making it's all about making it's the spirit of like togetherness in building community up. That's gone. It's all about, like you said, one at a time, solo, building yourself up. And in doing so, you look at the life that they live. I'm sure that they find balance in it, but it's balancing an imbalanced life. And I was thinking of it in another way too, is it's improving bad habits. It's like every day they wake up and they're like, yes, I improved there. Well, what'd they improve? Their like ability to, micromanage something that, because they're doing that, they're missing out on like the larger importance that they should be focusing on. And so they're seeing improvement in negative things. They can't see the negativity in how their life is moving. And so they see these things as improvement, and they see their life as balanced, when meanwhile, they're working a job that, they're working in tech. They're working in big tech. And because they drive a Tesla and they're making decent money, and they wake up and they do their routine and they shave a hole off their golf game, they see these things as like improvements, whereas you would see improvement by people beginning to see your product as useful. Like, think about an inventor as opposed to a factory line. It's like one just spits out a dime a dozen by the thousands, and the other spits out one of a kind by the ones and by the tens. It's just the value is not seen in the latter anymore. It's how much can you do? So like the goodness isn't quantifiable anymore. People don't care about goodness and righteousness and doing what's right by yourself, for your own health and for the health of the community and those around you, and building up multiple people at a time. And it's like your arm should be like reaching down and just like, hold on to me. If you really want to rise up, you should be pulling as many people up as possible. That's not the mindset, though. In fact, it's the exact opposite. It's like, put spikes on the bottom of your shoes so you can kick people off that want it. And probably for good reason, because the people that are looking to attach to you are on your same wavelength. They just want to leech on you and get that shot, get their shot, so that they can be the guy that's wearing the boots next. So it's this like parasitic, toxic, as you said, like mindset and world. And I have another idea of balance, but we'll see if we get there. As far as like holistic and like dietary and all these other things, and how, like, you briefly mentioned it, but like I was going to go further into about just how hard it is to maintain a balance. Like you listed it out really well. Like obviously you got to work, you worry about your diet, try to get some exercise in. If you got kids, you got another phase that you have to worry about. And I would say you have to worry about it. You should have to worry about it more. And I'm not trying to take this away from people who don't have kids in a comparison type of sense, but in that way you are, living, you know, for another person once you have kids. So you really should be focusing on being as good as you can for them, which is something that I need to find motivation in. And that's where I was going to go with it, is that, I've kind of taken a step back in that inadvertently, but I've kind of caught myself and realized where I was in my fall. And now I got to climb back out of it because I was lost in the sauce and not realizing I was falling as fast as I was. So I wasn't telling myself I need to work hard, because my brain, like I alluded to last week, when we talked about, how the voice in your head. But yeah, I definitely need to pay that voice a lot more mind moving forward, because it's been right every time. Really, I don't even have to say almost every time, because I'm pretty sure he's been right every single time, and I haven't been listening to it. But next on the docket, you mentioned. Oh, okay. So as far as like the business building aspect, like similar to what I was just saying, so this could bleed into it pretty well. That you'd hope that people wanted to pull people up and build with them. Well, you have a lot of people that, like the guy you mentioned, maybe he's a good guy, and maybe he does, extend the olive branch, and you guys can work together in some certain way and build up together. Who knows? I'm looking, I'm praying for that to take place or whatever, sending my own energy towards that. But what you see nowadays a lot is everybody works on their fronts. Like everybody fronts as somebody that they either have become because they've faked it for so long, or pushed them, acted that a certain way for so long, or at the very least it's not who people truly are or should be. But everybody has to acts a certain way to keep us, like, to build, to keep up with the status quo that is being presented to them in their media and really the world around them. Because what was once just trending online, and you could say that it wasn't the whole world, well, most of those things are now the whole world. It doesn't take long. The digital, like the information age, is as giving as it is draining, because as fast as you can learn something or counter the narrative, that narrative you can't reach as many people with your counter narrative as the narrative can reach. So it's like, yeah, you individually might have an answer that you wouldn't have otherwise had, and you'd probably be stuck with the lemmings. The problem is you're still stuck with those lemmings, and 99% of them are on that narrative. So as much as you'd be lost without the information age is also the reason we are where we are. And as far as like maintaining good habits throughout all the adversity thrown at us, it really comes down to mindset. Because what I found in my own personal life is that it's starting to feel like there's not, but in my experience, there's been plenty of time for most good things, and it's all too easy to kind of trick yourself into thinking there's not enough time for the good things, and still find time for the things that are base or neutral or even bad. And a lot of it comes down to just mindset and will, and being able to, because I know you have those things. I mean, I know you have the mindset and the will to overcome the phase of their plan that we're in. And I just think you're feeling the effects of being that. And so you just got to kind of, now that's your next thing. Your next thing is just like, okay, so that's where we are. All right. So it's going to be hard to even like, they're taking away the personal connections now. I mean, they have been taking those away, but I mean, like really taking them away, because rather than do things like global scamdemics and things of that nature that like kind of put people into changing their mindset. Nowadays, it's just by popular demand, everybody is changing their mindsets in order to try to have their time in the limelight, and to get their quick money, and to get their quick fame, and to have their dopamine pushed to the limit, because more every single day is draining more and more from the tank, to where they, it's just like it's a drug. It's like people don't stay on people, more than likely if you do a class A or whatever drug, even if the lower kinds, you don't, if you pop pills, the likelihood of you trying crack and meth and fentanyl is much higher, because it's just, you're going to stop maintaining that high, and you're going to need something more and more and more. And that's what dopamine is. It is a drug. It's literally a drug, or at least, it's a hormone that, or I don't know if it'd be considered a hormone. I should do my due diligence in the chemistry of that and the biology, but um, it's quote unquote natural, yet it is meant to be regulated by your brain. And when I say by your brain, I mean by you, by the conscious that you control, if you do control it. More things to talk about for a later episode, but I mean, giving, pushing that dopamine to the limit, it's going to set that limit even higher, and you're going to have to do something more and more and more in order to feel it, and then it plateaus, it's gone. And when it's gone, that's the depression, that's the low, that's where you have the despair. That's where you have the despair. And I think you're noticing not only the despair in most people, but so you have despair with a lot of people, and then you have people pretty much on a lower rung working towards despair right now, and you're just seeing them actively doing stuff that they don't realize is going to lead to that despair. Like I said, they're making improvements, they're improving negative things, and so they're seeing improvement, and so it's propelling them forward in a negative mindset, a negative way of life, and a negative job, and a negative, something that's not positive towards humanity, that's not building community, that's not connecting them with other people, that's not, all these things. And you look how isolated people are in society now, and it's forced isolation. People aren't being or it's not outwardly forced, it's self-prescribed isolation. People want to be alone and build their brand up, and they're looking over their shoulder, because that's how parasitic the world has become, is because your best friend will stab you in the back in order to get that spot, all for that shitty fame, all for that TikTok glory and shit that just is fleeting, and they don't realize it's fleeting in the moment. Like I said, like I was pretty heavy into the worldly things, and I didn't understand how fleeting it was in the moment. So yeah, that's my part of my take on that. And I know that your life is much more balanced than mine is, as far as your ability and willingness to routinely do the things you need to do, that you've researched and know that you need to do for your body and for your life and stuff like that. Um, why don't you talk a bit about that, and maybe be an inspiration for anybody out there listening. And I know it is for me, because I need all that I can get because my issue is definitely mental.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, for me, like you said, like, you know, whether it's going to the gym or like I said, like the trampoline park, or I'm running or I'm doing my stretches or whatever, it's like that to me, like, pretty much is, you know, the balance. And that's why I do so many different things too. And I don't just kind of stick to one thing. I'm kind of, you know, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, kind of across the board, because, you know, it helps give you that balance, and that's really what you need. And to me, that, you know, that is my sense of belonging, because it's like, I don't, you know, for me, it's like, you know, everything else to me, besides like what I got going on and what I'm doing, like, for the most part, it all just kind of seems, for the most part, like most things, like I said, are just, they're all just short lived. Like, it's all, everything's just short lived. It's all just kind of a waste. So if everything's just kind of a waste, then I just focus on myself and do what I got to do to make sure, you know, it's like I said, you know, here and there, uh, you know, like I said, I smoke some weed. I get some, you know, get some creativity, some motivation, some inspiration from that. You know, I get some ideas and I start thinking about things. Um, and that's the thing too. I mean, you know, a balance with, you know, even if it's, you know, weed or marijuana, you know, or whatever, it's just a, you know, a little balance with that. You know, you don't want to, obviously you don't want to do too much, but sometimes it's good to have some as well. So it's, you know, everything's about a balance. Um, and even like, um, just like mentally, like emotionally, and as well as like physically too. It's like, um, whether it's just like getting outside or going for a walk or just doing something real simple, real basic. Um, to me, that really kind of helps like reset me too, and kind of put me like kind of where I need to be. Like, if I'm, you know, some days, you know, like yesterday, I was just, you know, it's kind of rainy, it was kind of depressing, I didn't really do anything, I was kind of sore, you know. I thought maybe I'd go to the gym or I'd go to the trampoline park, but I just kind of relaxed. I was waiting to see if I got a job yesterday, and I didn't. So I just kind of, you know, sat around, just did a little stretch and a little workouts at home and stuff. But really didn't do anything at all. I thought I'd probably get a job or something, but I didn't. But it was just kind of one of those days where it's just kind of like, you know. But um, that's just, you know, especially like, yeah, this, like I said, kind of last couple of stuff too, like this time of year coming up. I mean, it could be, this is when people really need the motivation, inspiration, because this is when people are going to be down. You know, the winter months. You know, the depression sits in. You know, the loneliness, the darkness, and I know just 2 weeks from today, we got November 2nd is, you know, not only the last race and stuff at Phoenix, but it's also going to be like the clocks go back or whatever. Or
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so it's going to be darker even earlier. So it's like going to be, like I said, and I think it was last episode, the week before, like how that to me is like, that's always the big gut punch to each November. And it's like, it's just so like just dark and depressing. And it's just like, then you got to get used to that reset. And it's like, man, it's just, few months ago, June, it was just sunny, and just, it was sunny till 10 o'clock, and now it's dark at 4. And it's like, man, it's just like, it throws you off. And then, um, yeah, I think for like, you know, to help motivate, inspire people, and, you know, for just trying to, you know, leave more on a positive note, I really think that, yeah, you do have to focus on yourself. Absolutely. But you don't want to, you know, consume yourself and get too consumed and obsessed with things. And just, like I said, I mean, yeah, you do want to, you know, try and self improve and try and make more money, and, you know, do all those things. But you just don't want to, you know, do something that's, you know, it's like, if, like I said, you know, if you were, you know, going for a run, and, you know, you're running 5-6 miles, you know, or running a mile a day or 5-6 miles a day, that's fine. But if you were running like 20-30 miles every day, I mean, it would just kill you. I mean, you'd lose so much weight, you'd be so skinny, you'd feel like garbage, you wouldn't be able to do anything, you wouldn't be able to recover, you wouldn't be able to walk. It's like you wouldn't even have time to do it. You drive yourself nuts. And that's the thing. It's like a lot of people, it's like, and some people will do that with their work or their job. They'll just drive themselves into the ground, they'll run themselves right into the ground. you just don't want to do that. And it's just no way of life. It's just, you don't want to live that way. And, a lot of people right now are, forced to do that because, everyone's got to grind through work and stuff. And, I'm trying to figure out, other ways and side ways to, try and make a little bit of money and stuff. But I don't really like I said, I mean, it's not like I care about that much. Like, I don't care if I, uh, don't do certain things. I don't care about, beating generational curses and making, hundreds, thousands, millions of dollars and, making sure I got a massive cushion under me and I'm going to be able to do all this stuff. Like, I don't care about any of that. Like, none of that even, like, I just don't care. Like, it's just not even in me to care about that stuff. Like, other people, they got to go out, they got to have that brand new $200,000 Mercedes, and they got to have a house, and they got to have this, and they got to have that, and they got to brag about this, and they got to brag about their family or their kids or something. Like, it's just like, I don't care about any of that. I don't. None of that to me, Matt. None of that to me is anything. It's just like, and I think that's what it comes down to too. It's just like, you have to be you have to find a balance of even your own ego. I mean, you have to have somewhat of an ego. You can't just walk around and just be nothing. But you have to be, you do have to be a bit cocky and arrogant too. I mean, so you have to be cocky and arrogant and somewhat full of yourself, but you also have to, have that, you know, bit of humbleness too. You have to be humble as well. So you have to walk around, both, especially in this world, because, the way people are, I mean, everyone's just out to either, and I feel like most people, like I said, like most people I come in contact with, everyone I feel like sees me, and then they know that there's more to me than what meets the eye. I mean, I can sense that when I'm at the gym. Like, people are kind of giving me those looks. They know there's like something going on with me. And if I'm at the trampoline park, I'm out running. People pick up on it. They pick up on my energy and stuff like that. And um, I think that's what you really have to have. Is you just have to have that aura, that sense of self and who you are and what you got going on. And then once you kind of, bring that into the world, I mean, people will gravitate towards you, because people definitely do gravitate towards me. There's definitely a lot gravitating towards me. It's just that I don't see really anything kind of filling up, that could be filling up, or that could be, there could be so much more going on. And I think that, um, as a society, that's just, as a whole, that's really the big problem. Is you have just, like I always say, like, there's just so much, almost like, it's almost kind of like wasted potential, but it's not really like wasted potential. Like, I see it, like, it's like, I kind of look at it more like, what are you really missing out on? Like, that's kind of the way I see it. It's like, like, there's really nothing to miss out on. Like, there's people that, maybe they could be, friends or working with them, or maybe there's a possible relationship somewhere, but it's like, I more so just, like, I just feel content. Like, I just feel like nothing can really, like, get to me. Like, if somebody, I woke up and my car was all scratched up, I don't give a fuck. I don't fucking care. Like, I'm not gonna let that ruin my day. Like, I don't even care if I got a different car and then it was all like, I've been through so much in my life that's not even gonna phase it. It's not even gonna stop me. Other people, they have that $200,000 Mercedes, and God forbid that gets scratched up, they're gonna kill somebody. As long as my car, stops and gets to where I need to go, I'm grateful and happy and thankful for that. That's all I need. So, yeah, and that's where, my balance comes in. Like, I don't throw my balance off on purpose. I don't, oh my God, my $900 suit got ripped up. Some cat scratched, or some dog chewed it up or something. It's like, I don't care. Like, you look at my clothes, most of them got holes, they're ripped up. I don't care. Like, it's not, that doesn't phase me. That's the way I look at the world. Like, nothing that you're gonna do to me or is gonna happen is gonna phase me. You're not gonna phase me. You're not gonna bother me. Unless you fucking break my arm or break my leg. Well, that's gonna affect me. That's gonna phase me. That's gonna fuck me up. That's gonna set me back. But unless I'm like physically like having issues, like, unless it's like my body or something, it doesn't. Things aren't gonna get to me. And I think. Like a sense of belonging. A lot of people, that they just feel so alone. And like I said, it's really when you become comfortable in you work on yourself to a point. You just get to a point where you just feel, you might still feel sad or depressed or tired or, lethargic at times, or things can still get you down, obviously, but it's not like, you feel good in your own skin. You feel comfortable. It's not like you're worried and stressing and, you're, oh, I'm alone. And, oh, I'm a loser and all this. And that's what a lot of people in the world and everyone wants you to think of. They might look at you like that, but I mean, I don't ever feel that way. Like I look at people, it's like, I wouldn't want to be anybody else. Like I look at myself and it's like, I wouldn't want to be anyone else's life. I wouldn't even want to be a younger version of myself. Like I want to be who I am now, because I have the knowledge and the wisdom and, the strength now I didn't have when I was 5, 10 years old, or 15, or 20, or even 25, or even a year ago. I mean, even a year ago, I've come in such a long way. So I think that's a lot of it too. And I just think a lot of people make things just into, a lot bigger issue than they need to be. And they just worry about stuff they don't need to worry about. And, um, yeah, that's just pretty much my take on that.
Healthy take. Yeah, a lot of what you said is, yeah, I would say words to definitely live by and try to mimic in your own walk. Not to say do the exact same thing that you're doing, but take
Right.
the moral or the overarching point and try to mimic that in what you have going on. And I guess this will just be another episode. I mean, I've done better this week. I guess I'll just use this as my journal as I'm doing this, because I'm kind of laugh at that, but I also kind of think that it is potentially a good idea. Not only will it keep me more honest, because I feel like as much as I know I'm doing it for something that's greater than me, at least it feels like I'm being held to it just by putting it out there. You know what I mean? So it's just another added thing that's trying to keep myself in check. But I've been doing I shouldn't say a much more rigorous workout routine, exercise routine, but slightly more rigorous, more weight, more reps type of thing, and different varieties. And I've been stretching. And so far, I've only been stretching my legs. I need to look up, because I have like a yoga ball, and I know you can do a lot of stretches on that to do soft stretches on that, because I really don't. The last thing I need is to throw something out, because I'm sure I'm so tight from not stretching areas that I used to stretch. I know my baseball stretches, and so those are always good, because those were pretty key in keeping me limber when I was in high school. But yeah, that stretching has honestly been the hardest part of all the things. It's been the hardest one, but yeah, there's just still several things I need to work on. There's still a voice in my head that I haven't fully listened to, and he's there to be like, hey, you don't need to snack on that, bro. Hey, you could, you might be able to fast today. So, and I know you're not any proponent or dejector of fasting necessarily. It just doesn't necessarily work for you. But I mean, I went from someone who could fast regularly. In fact, I was fasting, 2 times a week, like 2-day fasts, like multiple times a week. And on top of that, all I was eating was a protein, the cabbage that I make, and some rice, and usually wild rice or brown rice. Although I did have plenty of white rice, which I know isn't good, but if your body can handle it, it can. I understand that it, turns into sugar and all these things, and but I know I could do it. It's like, I mean, I've fasted for 7 days straight, and it almost reminds me of like quitting smoking and quitting everything all at once. It's just frustrating, because like the first like 3 days, first of all, the first day back when I was good at fasting, the first day would be super easy. you'd get the little hunger pangs because you were used to eating at a certain time. But once that time goes by, you're fine. Second day, a little bit more rough. Third day is usually the hardest one, where it's just like, damn, you're hungry all day and your body's telling you you're hungry. And then the fourth day, it's just like you don't even want to eat. Fifth day, you don't even want to eat. Sixth day, you don't even want to eat. And then by the seventh day, I'm just like, the only reason I ate is because I was like, I probably should. It's like I'm not really doing this because I like am 400 pounds. I probably should eat something. And so then you eat, and then you feel like garbage, and you're like, shit, I probably could have done another couple days. But I can hardly do a day now. The last time I did a day fast, I think I told you when it was probably over a month and a half ago now. So I'd really like to get back into that. And it doesn't have to be, 4 or 5 days at a time. I would like to be able to fast a day, like once or twice a week, while I'm in this process of trying to get my body back into shape. And maybe once I'm back into shape and I'm down with the routine I've given myself, then I can reintroduce, the food, because I'll be burning more and more calories per day, and that food will be put to good use. But as it is right now, it's a lot of the sedentary, and it's a lot of I drink pretty healthy beverages too. I would say it's getting pretty fringe, because I do have recently my choice of caffeinated beverages. It's like it's the off of being terrible one. It's not like a soda or anything like that, but it's still, it's like, I know I'm just making a concession. I know I'm just saying like, oh, it's not as bad as that. So that doesn't mean it's good though. And so that's something I should at least cut down, because that went from something that was like, I would literally have either one a day or not even one a day. And I would mix it with a LaCroix. And initially all I drank was LaCroix to if I wasn't drinking water. And then it's just, things start slipping, guys. It happens fast. And that voice in my head was all along the way, it was telling me, hey bro, you're slipping. And I just, I wasn't paying attention to it. And here we are. So as much as you're preaching about your balance, I'm trying to find my balance. So it's like we're on two different wavelengths with two very different lives as well. But it still comes down to it is that it is important for you to have a healthy balance, mentally, physically, and spiritually as well. And that's something I'm lacking in as well. But the one thing that has been provided is through our channel here is, this is something I look forward to every single week, because even if we don't, it's not like on the tip of my brain thinking of it this way at all. In fact, only just now am I thinking of it this way because it's in context, but it really does provide that thing that you don't realize you need until you're not doing it. And it's just like the companionship and the friendship with somebody that's not like forced friendship. And I'm not saying it's forced that my girlfriend's my friend or that my children are my friend, but it is, implied. Let's say it's implied. Whereas us, we came together because we had similar interests, and we were able to mesh well together. And so to those of you out there who might not have that, seek it out. It's not something that's locked to you. You will, if you're looking, you won't find it if you're not looking for it. This world is not about handouts. It never has been. It never has been. Things are not just going to fall in your lap. That's not how the world works. You might hear stories about them. Well, guess what? Those stories aren't about you. You're not that person. Who knows? You hear the story about how something good happened to somebody. You don't hear the 10 stories they could tell about what bad happened to them. And that goes for rich or for poor or for anyone. This life is not comparing yourself to others. That's not what's going to make your life any better. So, seek these things out, seek knowledge, seek truth, seek people who are on the same wavelength as you and that you mesh with. They're out there, and more odds, the odds are is they're probably where you're at now, not able to seek. But once you're able to put yourself out there and seek, you can at least be the initiator. A lot of people need an initiator, but once you initiate them into the world of the living again, they can initiate the next person. So it's like we don't want to sit here and say like, I think a lot of people have the attitude like, why should I? They don't do it. Why should I? Nobody's coming to me. Why should I go to them? And that's, that's a slippery slope. That is, and we're sliding down that slope right now because of that mentality.
Yeah.
And it's got to stop somewhere. And it stops with you personally, because you are slipping. You who are listening to us right now, you're slipping. I'm sorry, there's nobody who's perfect, and more odds are that you're slipping in multiple ways, just the same way I am. And it helps to have somebody hold you in check, or at least provide you with an ulterior reason to hold yourself up. Better yet, you have somebody that's motivated to hold you up just because they're good people. That works too. But I'm just saying, like, there has to be a personal reason to balance your life and to really fight, the loneliness that creeps in, to fight that sense of isolation and things of that nature, especially in the world we're living in now, where it's so easy to just isolate, and you can tell yourself you have 50 friends because you're on Facebook or whatever, Instagram or whatever, when everybody is just looking for the next opportunity the same way you probably are. And it's not true friendship, it's not true companionship, it's not true discussions, it's not true anything. It's just not true. It's a fake version. It's a what's that? It's like that Pan's Labyrinth scene where they're all like eating the delicious looking food, and then the wolves pulled over, pull the veil up, and they realize they're eating like just rotten, disgusting mush that's been sitting there for years with worms and everything crawling around it. It's just like, that's what there's just this veneer on top of everything that gives it a shine, but you can spit shine a turd and it's still a fucking turd. So anyway, that's my piece. And we want to know where you guys are at in your life too, because as you've mentioned multiple times, I think two times this stream, and we've thrown this line out there multiple times, because I've alluded to it as well as being, the primary goal of this channel. And as much as it has been something personal for us, because it is, and even from when I think about it early on, I think it was just strictly personal. Like, we just wanted to hang out and like talk, and like also driving the community forward for Zach as well. That still is a driving factor, because I think that's, if that happens, other things happen in a good order as well. But it's not like a compromise. It's not like a compromising thing. It's not worth gaining 3,000 followers if 2,000 of them are shitbags. And you know what I mean? That we're trying to build a community of people that are level-headed and want, similar mindset. It's not like it's necessary that you are. You can, if you're still in the muck and the mire, you're more than welcome here. I'm not. It's almost pertinent that you are here, or you do find a channel that is able to open your eyes to the way, the true way of the world, because time's just slipping into the future. But that's probably copyright right there. That was too good. My melody's too good. I should have fucked that up a little bit more. But no, but yeah, I mean, we're all really running out of time. Never mind a cataclysm, never mind the next asteroid, or we're running out of time personally. Time speeding up more than any of us can truly calculate. And before you know it, you're going to blink your eye, and that those chances that you might have now are going to be long gone. And you got to just reach out and take the chance. Hit us up. Come join us on the podcast. We're just two dudes yapping. You could be the third dude or dudette or whatever we could.
Yeah.
I would love for if this was a panel, just imagine the opportunities. And even if you have a business mindset, as long as it's not toxic, if you find ways to like string one thing into another, I think of those things too. I thought about it, especially with King Richard. And if we could somehow like parlay this into like other avenues of things, yeah. I mean, those things have to be built off something. So right now it's just, conjecture and thinking about it. But yeah, I mean, who knows? Who knows what could happen if we were, the more minds together, the better. So, like you said, yeah, dude, we're
And
getting
like you
close.
said too, I mean, the motivation, inspiration, uh, this the big thing too is, like I said, I mean, yeah, you look on paper, yeah, like you said, I mean, yeah, we're nothing alike on paper when you look at it that way, but then you look at our minds, yeah, we got two different lives, we're from two different places, we've had two different um upbringings and two different, we've lived in different places in the country, and we've had different lives, and we're different people, and yeah, we look nothing alike on paper. Yeah, totally two different lives on paper, two different people, but then you come together and you look at what we can do. I mean, that should be the motivation, inspiration right there, because it's like, I think a lot of people, they're looking for that, like I always say, no two people are exactly alike, no two people are going to agree about everything, but it's just about, you have that mind, and once you can find someone with a mind of, and like I said, any kind that wants to come on here, I mean, and even if you want to disagree with us and tell us that we're wrong or something, I mean, yeah, go ahead. I mean, let me know what you think. I mean, how we're wrong or how we're right, or what you think, or anything. That's what it's all about. It's just about really participation
Mhm.
of what could possibly be. I mean, like I said, I don't shoot nobody down. That's why I don't judge people. I mean, it is what it is, and I think that should be everyone's inspiration, motivation. Look at me and you. We met up, and we didn't meet up on the internet. We didn't come over the internet. We met up in person, and we're two different people, and but look what we're able to do, and we've been doing it consistently every single week ever since. So I think that right there pretty much should tell someone everything they need to know.
Boom. That's why you're so much better at closing it out, dude. As always, dude, that's definitely a strong suit. But with that, guys, take well, that was that was YouTube calling.
Yeah.
I'm not even on there yet. All right, guys. We'll see you next week.
Peace.